Hi, my name's Tim Boult, and I'm a director and owner at Bird Healthcare. We are an Australian-owned medical supply business, so we manufacture a number of medical devices and supply nationally to the whole country. Specifically, our area of expertise is actually respiratory diagnostics and treatment devices. So the last few weeks have been quite interesting, to say the least. We've seen obviously a lot of changes in our market from a diagnostic perspective. A lot of resources and hospital focus has moved to essentially emergency care and screening. So that has obviously, impacted our business in many ways, but I suppose fortuitously we're in a position where one of our minor products was actually a ventilation filter. That minor product has now become a major product. We're currently dealing with government task force to secure more raw materials. We manufacture the product locally in Australia. The demand is quite significant. I think everyone's aware of the whole ventilation discussion around this. So there's been quite a lot of interesting discussions at a government level regarding the supply of this product. We also have another fairly critical lung health product in asthma spacer devices, which aren't just specifically for asthma, but they are for a variety of respiratory conditions, which obviously this COVID disease is eliciting specifically. So we've feel like we've lost a couple of limbs in terms of the products that we would normally produce and sell and put into the market, but at the same time we've had an enormous growth or surge, I should say, in a couple of key items. As a company, we went from getting prepared to go to a big international conference, which was going to be held here in Melbourne, to suddenly, within 4 days, everyone was working from home, conference was cancelled. And it took us, I reckon, a good 3 or so weeks just to get used to the craziness of working from home and being in a completely different environment, learning how to communicate and how to manage staff and how to keep people on task, and also I think just managing people's personal situation and all this as well. So it's been quite a learning curve, but I feel like now 3 or so weeks in, it's sort of becoming normal, and it's not so bad. So we're just doing what we can do to adapt, but I think everyone would probably agree that one day at the moment is almost the equivalent of a week. So you just never know what you're going to sit down to in the morning versus what you're going to end up with at the end of the day or the end of the night. So that's sort of where we're at the moment. And I think we'll watch this space closely and see where the healthcare sector takes us moving forward.
Sure. Just on that, looking at this, we don't know how long this is going to last. How have you started strategically planning for, if this goes on for another 3, 6, 12 months, or how are you managing that as you go?
Yeah, sure. We certainly have started looking at this. There's a couple of angles we have to look at. One is our supply is a key factor here. So moving forward, we're trying to rapidly understand what the demand is going to be, which is important because it's one thing to have an increase or a spike now, but that could also leave us a bit desolate of product. So we're certainly working from an operational perspective to try and forward plan for the long term. Cash flow is always important with that if we're having a buy up. But then also, from a personnel perspective, we're just trying to stay as pragmatic as we can about this. Our people are, intrinsically linked with the business, so we're putting them first. We're not making any knee-jerk reactions. Everyone's still working full-time. In fact, we've actually upped the hours of some of our staff to help us accommodate. So, we're though closely monitoring and, as everyone is probably assessing the assistance and whatnot that might be available should, any company, like even us, see some sort of downturn or change in finances over the coming months. But otherwise, as a established business that's been doing this for a long time, we've got a lot of systems and processes in place. It's now just a case of scaling those up and really, hopefully, that should see us in good stead.
Very good. That's awesome. Thank you very much for your time. Good luck.
No worries. Thanks for
Cheers.
that. See ya.
See ya.